Hello everybody. Today we are going to make our stuffed peppers. So I know we've been kind of starting a little bit light. We didn't have any real meals. We've just been doing some easy stuff, but we're going to take it up a little bit today, another notch, and we're going to make the stuffed peppers. They do not have meat in them. You know that I'm plant-based and I advocate for plant-based because that means we don't have a lot of the hormones that are injected into the meats. We don't have a lot of chemicals that are injected in. There's no preservatives. So we try to use real food as much as possible. Always trying to get a variety of foods of different colors. So I'm even using colored peppers today for our recipe instead of just the green ones, because each color has a different nutrient. And you cannot replace what you get from food with any kind of supplement. There's plenty of supplements you need and that we use, but you cannot replace real food. So that's why we're learning how to do all these things and how to throw stuff together. And sorry about the special that I wanted to do from Puerto Rico. We got to the Airbnb and it was great. We had a good time, but they had like one pan, hardly any other kind of utensils. So we're like, oh gosh, couldn't like buy everything to do our special just to be able to and have to leave it there and take it back home. Oh well, we'll figure it out though. We'll do some more specials. I did have one person that wants to be a guest, and I'm happy to take any other guests who want to learn how to cook something, or you know, where we can do a little chat while we're doing this. We can cook, we can talk about hormones, we can talk about health, we can answer questions one-on-one, whether it's a question that you guys have or a question that whoever is here with me cooking has. And then if there's something special that you like or something that you're interested in learning how to make, that's what we'll do. We'll just plan it ahead of time. Anyway, so I'm hoping everybody's had a little bit of time to get on now. And what I have done is, yes, I'm wearing my fancy apron today that my little beautiful princess made me because I'm using tomato sauce. And every time, for some reason, I wear white and forget that I'm going to be splattering tomato sauce. So this is a creation that I came up with one day because obviously I want to stuff peppers and I like to learn how to revamp a traditional recipe so that I can make it a little bit healthier and give it a little bit of kick, a little bit of a twist to it. So that's what we're doing here with this. I'm going to go ahead and start with our the prep of the pan and the prep of the peppers. And trust me, with what we do, you're never even going to know there's no hamburger in this. But if you insist, you can add hamburger, but do grass-fed beef and try to buy locally. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to prep my pan. I'm just going to put some olive oil in the bottom of my pan here so that the peppers don't stick to the bottom. And so the other thing that I do when I make stuffed peppers that I'm going to bake is I take and I put a little bit of the tomato sauce in the bottom. This keeps the peppers from sticking. Yeah, I'm making a mess already. Keeps the peppers from sticking. It also gives it an extra little bit of sauciness to it. So the olive oil and then a little bit of juice on the bottom. So the peppers, which way do you cut the pepper, right? What I do is I've experimented with both. So first we're cutting my pepper. This is how you cut a pepper for these if you are not used to doing that. You cut around the core and kind of pop it out. And then you have all these little seeds inside that you don't want. So I'm cutting my peppers in half this way. Cutting out the seeds and the core. Normally, yes, I would wash these insides out. All right, so you take that and then you set it down in your pan. How's everybody doing today? Anyway, how was your holiday? Did anybody do anything exciting?
Someone says you look nice and tan.
Oh, gee, thank you. Oh, we had such a good time. You know, it's really good to take breaks like that to reset. You know, we work so hard. I'm sure everybody does. Every day is a stress and a struggle no matter what you do. And taking care of yourself, doing a little self-care, a little self-love, that's just as important as eating healthy. And then, of course, you know, the sun gives all that great vitamin D. There we are, their colors. Everybody's quiet today. You wore out from your holiday? Having to come back to a short work week? That's a blessing and a curse, isn't it? Because you like having the short week, but at the same time, it's like, oh my goodness, it's like twice the amount of work. So does anybody make stuffed peppers? This is something, a regular dish or something you've never done? There you are. Okay, everybody's quiet again. I see how you are. So I'll leave my mess there. All right, so now we're gonna do the other part. We're gonna make the stuffing. So I'm gonna put my little skillet in there. Put in a little bit of olive oil. Now you know when I send you the recipes, it'll have all the amounts. I am so not good about measuring stuff. When I make the recipes, I do the measurements so I can put it on there. But I'm just throw it in kind of girl. I'm gonna step back because I keep gonna splatter. So doing the garlic in the pan. You want it, when you do garlic like this, it helps to bring out the flavor, but you don't want to burn it. You don't want it to get brown. You just kind of put it in there, medium heat, stir it around for a couple minutes, and that's all you need. So now, the next thing I'm going to do with this, so the recipe calls for 1 can of black beans. So black beans are very high in fiber. They have protein in them. Fiber we want, because remember, fiber helps with balancing estrogen. And since all of this is about balancing hormones, preventing cancer, and overall wellness, you want to make sure that you get lots of fiber because you want to keep yourself regular. And I know, what a topic, right? But if you're not regular and things sit in the colon too long, that actually increases your risk of colon cancer. So keeping things on the move is what we want to do. So I give you recipes of things that taste good and keep things going regularly. So I put in my black beans. Now we're going to use quinoa again. Quinoa, we talked about it, I think it was last week when we did something with quinoa, because it's a complete protein and it has the texture almost of ground hamburger. If you're going to chop up the hamburger, this would be about the same texture. So you're getting your protein in there, fiber and flavor. So put that in, stir it around. The next thing I'm going to put in here is chia seeds, which you might think, what the heck are you doing with chia seeds in this? So chia seeds, another really good source of fiber, super good source of fiber. Decreases inflammation, it will keep you regular, it balances your insulin levels. So when we talk, you've heard me say it 100 times, insulin and inflammation, those are so important for balancing everything, whether it's your diabetes, your blood pressure, cholesterol, your hormones, everything. Those are our 2 key factors that we work with when we're working with you to balance everything. So I add it wherever I can. And again, so we've got the beans for texture, we've got the quinoa for texture. Now I add the chia seeds. That gives us another type of texture, and it's a thickener. And once everything is cooked, you won't even realize that they're in there actually. It just, like I said, gives that kind of heartiness, and it gives all the fiber we need and the protein we need, and gives you that full kind of sensation. All right, so this, I pre-measured this way. So if you're measuring like good people do, this is 2 cans of tomato sauce. I put extra in here because I like things extra saucy in this container when I was measuring it. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour this over the top of the peppers when they're all finished. So always make it your own. If you like things extra saucy, make it extra saucy. If you don't like as much sauce, you don't have to pour the sauce on the top. If you like cheese, you can use some plant-based cheese or some goat cheese and sprinkle on top of these after they're done. Although I would stick with the plant-based mozzarella if you're going to put cheese on it. So what you want to do with this now is you want to let it simmer. Obviously for the purpose of us doing this today, I'm not going to let it simmer for a full 15 minutes. But I like to do that for about 10 to 15 minutes. It lets the flavors kind of all mesh in there together. It lets the chia seeds absorb up the liquid from the tomato sauce. And so you can start to see what your consistency is going to be. Because if, it's not the right consistency, it's either going to be too dry, it's going to be too runny, and then you're like, uh-oh, that was a flop. But it's not really a flop. It'll all turn out. All right, so that's that stuff got it going and starting in there. Then a little salt and pepper. I'd say a teaspoon of each, or just sprinkle it onto your taste buds. Now, I'm going to do something different with this that you guys probably have never done with stuffed peppers. And this is where I make it. Again, this is my own, this is my twist. This is something a little different, and I really recommend you try it. Garam masala, I love this seasoning. And so it's got like a little bit of a sweet taste to it. And it's a different flavor. I use this a lot in sometimes spaghetti sauces just to give it a little bit different kick. It's an Indian spice, really. You'll see it in a lot of Indian style dishes, but I like the sweet. And if you want something that's sweet and spicy, you can use this, and you can add crushed red peppers. So that's why I make it your own, like experiment with it. Look, I'm gonna pretend that I'm measuring there. Sprinkle that in there. Add a tablespoon of it. The other thing is, if your sauce gets too thick, like if you maybe you don't have another can of tomato sauce or something happened and it gets a little too thick, you can add a little water to this, because that chia is what's absorbing the liquid. So go ahead and take a look at this, princess. You can see how it's starting to thicken up. And you see how it almost looks like you've got a hamburger kind of consistency, like you chopped your hamburger up real fine, but yet there's no hamburger in there. So this is perfect for all of my plant-based friends. And this will keep thickening as we bake it, because we're gonna bake these. And I think I wanna add a little bit more tomato sauce in there because it is starting to thicken up. So this is why you play with recipes. And exact measurements, like I said, I do my best to get the measurements in there, but play with it. All right, how's that looking to everybody? What do you think of using this instead of hamburger?
Rocky wants that for dinner.
Okay, Rocky. I might save you some. So this is another good thing. Speaking of that, that's funny. So right now, I don't know how many of you all are into doing sports. You have to be on the go all the time. This is a really nice dish that you can make like on Saturday or Sunday, and then bake it when you have practice or a late night. Or if you want to bake it all on Saturday, then you got something that you can heat up. So it's always hard to find things that are fast and healthy when you're on the go for sporting events and stuff. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to fill my peppers.
Stickers would eat it.
Well, come on up, Stickers. You're only 4.5 hours away. All right. What did we ever do before we had this kind of technology where we could talk to people and see everything in real time? All right. It smells so good in here. We had done some of these classes for a little while. It was so hard to coordinate schedules, though, where you could actually smell this and see it and taste it. Because I think some of these flavors, if you've never had them before, you don't know, would you like it, would you not like it? So I did not put the red pepper flakes in it this time. I do like sweet and spicy and a little bit of hot to it, but I'm not sure that too many of the kids in the family would take that. Okay, so there we go. See how we got it? Now this is where I take my sauce, and I like it extra saucy. So add as much of that as you want on there. Okay, so how easy was that? We just made this whole meal in maybe 10 minutes. And then you just pop it in the oven about 350 degrees for 45 minutes. And that is to get the peppers soft and cooked through. I've seen recipes where people will pre-boil their peppers and do that, but I think it gives it a lot more flavor if you let it simmer and cook in its own sauces and juices and all the seasonings that are in there. So I would cover this with foil while it's baking, because that also helps, that steam in there helps to get the peppers to cook fully through. All right, so what do you think? That was our dish. I'm sorry, I don't have the fancy pull it out already cooked this time, because we're gonna cook this. We're actually gonna have it for dinner because we have volleyball tonight. But so what do you think, guys? Now, Since you're all out there listening and talking, tell me, what is it you are interested in most? Is it always still lunches, breakfast, more meals like this for when you're on the go? How is this working? What do we want? What do we need? I have things planned, but I like to also get a little feedback. Everybody's quiet. Man, you must all be asleep from the holiday. Okay, well that's all right. I'll just keep coming up with my own stuff. And I do have some good stuff planned. I'm trying to remember what we're doing next week, but I'm going to try to get my special guest there next week so that we can do something a little different. Okay guys, so we're going to pop that in the oven, and I'll take pictures of it for you when it's all done. You guys have a great day.